So the Phantom GX got some major changes, and I would even call it an upgrade. It went from the Phantom GX1 to the Phantom GX2. The changes they've made aren't exactly the biggest. The FG sole plate now is the Luna sole plate. The GX is only considered the low-cut version, so the high-cut version is now the Luna. It has a one-piece upper, and the laces have been put on to the side. Now, I was not a fan of the Phantom GX1, it just wasn't the boot for me. However, after wearing the Phantom GX2 for the last week and a half or so, I can say that I'm a big fan, and I'm very happy that Nike made the adjustments necessary. Nike is a brand that is always focused on the future and innovating tech and all sorts of other stuff that they like to do. They hate looking back on old models and keeping stuff the same. That being said, and I'll say it again, every adjustment they made was what was wrong with the Phantom GX1, and I'm very, very happy with this boot overall, and I'm gonna get into a deep dive on everything that I personally liked about this boot. I did mention the FG sole plate, which is now the Luna's 360 Cyclone sole plate, I believe is what it's called. However, I got the AG version as titled in the video. I'm inside training on turf, ground's cold outside, I don't wanna be out there, blah, 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 I've said it before. Now, I think this is one of the best ever AG sole plates I have worn, the best being the Vapor 11 or Superfly 5. This comes very close to it. It reminds me kind of the Tiempo 10 AG sole plate, a video I just did last week, but it's a little bit different. It is the same AG sole plate as the Phantom GX1. I never got around to wearing the Phantom GX1 in the AG sole plate. I think I would have liked it better than the FG, but from what I understand, the AG plate on the new GX2 is the sole plate you want to get whether you play on grass or on turf. I was talking with a good friend of mine, Noah Kavanaugh, who reviews football boots as well, and he told me not to even bother getting the FG, just get the AG. So I think once it warms up, probably springtime, I'm going to take the AG boots out on the grass and test them out that way, provided it's not super soggy. I just don't know how to feel about that FG 360 Cyclone plate, wearing it on turf. I will review that at some point, but in the future. I'm not super worried about reviewing that sole plate right now. I wore it before, just don't want to do it on turf. Some things that are kind of similar to the Phantom GX1 is these sole plates are about the same flimsy wise. They're not very, what's the word, springback. A lot of people like springback on their boots. These just really don't have that. Now, am I someone who cares about springback? No, I don't think it matters at all. The science behind it probably supports it, but it is what it is. I just don't think it matters. And you know, I have seen some stuff about these sole plates being a little weak. I'll talk about that in the durability towards the end of the video. I didn't experience anything like that. It was just a pretty well performing sole plate for me. Now, I also mentioned that it went from a two-piece upper to a one-piece upper. I like this a lot as well, and I'm sorry if I sound repetitive, but I really do enjoy what they've done to this boot. The two-piece upper is just not something that I really enjoy on a pair of football boots. As you can see on the Phantom GX1, this gray piece is all the grip knit, and then this kind of multicolor brownish, for probably what it looks like for you guys, is all the other piece of the boot. And it's not attached all the way. I'll get you a better visual right now. But why not just make it one piece at that point? I don't know why they did this for the GX1. GX2, they did it properly, and I'm glad they did that. They put the laces on the side, not as far as the New Balance Furon V7 Pro, which is almost directly on the side of the boot there, but it starts on the top and kind of just slides down a little bit. Does this really matter? Maybe lockdown, it helps or it doesn't help depending on your point of view, but it just kind of looks cool. They also have a more ribbed system that was on the Phantom Luna. They took the Phantom Luna ribs, put it on the GX2, except made a lot more of them. Now, does the grip knit really help with performance that much? I don't think so. You can kind of feel the grip a little bit, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's something that's game-changing. I will say, having both the GX1 and the GX2 in hand, the grip knit feels a lot more waxy on the GX2, and that reminds me more of the Phantom Luna. I like the Phantom Luna grip knit a lot more. I thought I actually was able to move the ball a bit more. And I would describe the Phantom Luna grip knit as being smooth but waxy. So there's no ridges or bumps. You can really see all the knit material in the grip knit on the GX1, and it kind of feels a bit rougher, but it's not like sandpaper rough. It just, you can feel all the individual fibers and knit strings, I guess, or however you want to call it that. And then for the GX2, it's still waxier. You can kind of feel each individual kind of thread, that makes up the knit upper, but not like you can on the GX1. I think that's an improvement overall, although it seems like they're straying away from the Luna's grip knit a little bit, which I still believe that it's two different kinds of grip knit. Now, the DF version does have the Ghost lacing system, and I do not have my pair anymore. I do have the Phantom Vision 1, which has the exact same lacing system, and I just don't like not being able to see my laces. I personally have never felt that laces have gotten in the way of striking, passing, touch on the ball, anything like that. Maybe some people have more of like a mental, hey, my laces are affecting my shot. Whatever, cool. If that's you, you know, so be it. But it just doesn't lock in properly, in my opinion. And your laces aren't in eyelets, they're in kind of nylon loops. And these nylon loops, I want to say there's only 4 or maybe 6 at most. And it's very hard to untie. If you have to relace these boots, good luck. It's probably going to be impossible. I never got over that, and I'm glad it's gone now. I'm pretty sure the high cut version of the GX2, which is actually the Phantom Luna 2, doesn't have that. I believe it's a one-piece upper, so thank goodness you don't have to worry about not being able to tie your laces or trying to get them in these nylon loops or all that other jazz. It's gone now. We don't have to worry about it. As for Lockdown, the lacing system kind of going down the side is a bit less traditional, although we are seeing it more and more in football boots. I don't really think that it took away or added to Lockdown. Maybe it did a little bit, but hard for me to say. I didn't have Lockdown issues with the GX1 in the low cut or DF version. But Lockdown was very solid on these boots. When you're wearing AG, you know, you're cutting a little bit, you don't have as much grip because you don't want your boots to get stuck when you come out of them. So Lockdown kind of matters a bit more, so you're not slipping and your feet are coming out from underneath you like if you would wear flats on turf. So these did the job quite well. I don't have much else to say. If you're wearing them on normal turf, you're gonna be just fine. Now, I did mention wearing these on FG at some point, and I definitely will wear them on just a regular grass pitch outside, but I still don't think Lockdown will really be an issue at that point. As for comfort, I found these a lot more comfortable than the GX1. It has a very nice foam padding all the way from the top of the heel cup here all the way down to where the sole plate starts. And to me, I love that. It encapsulates the entire heel cup. Your entire back, like heel and Achilles, are cushioned. I didn't have to deal with blisters at all. Maybe some of you will still get them. I just, for some reason, don't really get them that much. And there's no wood for me to knock on, so I probably will now. But I appreciate that. The heel cup is always a big issue for me. I have just heel issues, and I don't know if it's just a stress fracture or just overuse or whatever, but I always have issues back there. So when it has a little bit more cushion, I feel more comfortable and I feel a bit more secure and safe wearing them, even though it probably doesn't really affect any of that, but that's how I feel. As for the rest of the boot, I didn't have issues with width. I was told if you have a wide feet, you'd be fine wearing these, and I think that's pretty much true. I have not had any real issues with width. I did have a little bit of arch pain and probably some pain in the balls of my feet, but that's just an overuse thing. Doing so many videos and wearing so many different boots is probably what led to that. And I did put these on right out of the box and jumped into a game, so did not have any issues when I did that either. So that is also very nice. So I went with my normal Nike size, which is a 9 US. And I will say there is a bit of room in the toe. It might be 0.25, so a quarter of a size too big, but if I went with an 8.5, I just don't know if the boots would be narrow enough. If I'm lucky enough to get a pair in an 8.5, I will try that, but it's not on the top of my list. Wearing my normal size felt okay, even though there's that little bit of room. I didn't feel like it affected my game. My toes didn't drag. I didn't feel uncomfortable in that, especially if I wasn't thinking about it. I just played normally. So get your normal Nike size, and for reference, I wear a 9 in the Vapor, a 9 in the Tiempo 10, and a 9 in the Phantom GX for the most part. And it's just one of those things I'm unlucky with, where I just don't think I'm ever gonna get a properly sized pair of Nike boots unless I get them handmade or custom made or something like that, which 99% chance will not happen. But overall, normal Nike size, you should be okay. Also, if you have narrow feet, you might have a bit of extra space on the width of the boot like you would with any other boot that fits a bit wider. I just can't confirm that because I have wide feet, but what I will say is I did find a little bit of extra space like right in this area. I don't know if that's always the case with my football boots because I've never really looked at that before, which how could I not when I review boots all the time, but just kind of how it works out. Didn't really think it affected the fit, the comfort, or the lockdown at all. I just kind of noticed it and was like, So maybe if I get that 8.5, it will fit a little bit better, but again, it's just not on the top of my list, and the 9 did the job, you know, fine. And I didn't have any pain, so why change it if it's not broke? Lastly, I want to talk about the durability of this boot because there's been some issues that people have been reporting on it. Now, as for the sole separation, I don't see any. I always believe that turf boots are made, or AG boots are made to last longer and be a bit more tough because you're running them on turf instead of grass, and turf just eats boots alive. Now, I do know this for a fact on some pairs of turf boots or AG boots that they put a little extra support and material around the sole plate and the upper where they meet. And it doesn't seem to be the case for these boots, but also haven't seen any issues of wear there. Now, where the issue is, and I've seen some photos, and I actually have one from a random person on Instagram, so if this is you, shout out you, here's the photo. But it seems like these sole plates are snapping right here at the arch. And if I bend this, I don't really have any issues. I don't see any real signs of them snapping. I don't even think that this matters. But yeah, so these boots worked fine for me. It could just be a few pairs. It could have been a fake pair that this person had, although I can't confirm that, and I'm not trying to tell this person they have fake boots, just what could be the case. And who really knows? Will it happen? It looks like it was on an FG pair in the photo, and I think in the past, so with the GX1 and the Phantom Luna 1, it was on FG pairs with a sole plate snapped as well. I just don't have any photos of those. So could it be that Luna sole plate? Maybe. Could it just be unlucky? Could it be factory issues, quality control? Could be all of the above. It's just one of those questions I can't answer for you guys. Sorry. My overall rating for the GX2 AG Elite is going to be an 8.4, which is a solid B. I think it's a great boot. The only issue is a little bit of that sizing, but I like the lockdown. The comfort's great. That heel cup is great with all that padding in there. Grip knit is nice. A one-piece upper is way better than the two-piece uppers and the ghost knit and ghost lacing system. And I just didn't like that boots. I didn't like the GX1 at all. But these are great. You don't have to deal with the TriStar studs that were in the GX1 with the AG plate, and just it's a great boot. Solid B. I won't be adding this to my rotation just because it's not something I really overly enjoyed wearing, but it's still great. If you're wondering whether you should buy the FG or AG, definitely get the AG. And if you were wondering, if you're not sure if you should buy the GX over the Luna or anything like that, hopefully this review answered that question for you, but I'm going with the GX2. And to answer a final question, would I choose the GX2 over the GX1? Any single day of the week, I will pick the GX2 over the GX1, especially in this AG plate. Now, FG is probably gonna be a different story, but overall, well done, Nike. The upgrades worked. That's all I have for you guys today. If you like football boot reviews, if you like football boot videos, anything like that, please make sure to check out our channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next review.